Here's my shop tour. The first thing on the list is my anvil. Here's my big anvil that I have. It's a Vivor MD50. It's one of those Achio anvils. So far I'm pretty happy with it. I mounted it to this log. I cleaned up the horn a bit. It's not a round horn. I'm probably going to do a review. I don't know if you can see that. I'm probably going to do a review on this sometime in the future. I've found no problems with this one, except for a pretty major problem here. So, if you look, you can you see under there, see how it's metal, 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 and then adjusting see these lines in this material? There's like a casting fault that goes like this somewhere inside my anvil square horn, and it basically makes the rebound terrible, as well as the fact that they've decided to cover it up with Bondo. So they filled up this casting fault here with Bondo, which is not great. I'll show you, getting up, I'll show you what it sounds like with my two pound hammer. Let me just switch hands because I'm a lefty. Alright, in my hand. Bear in mind this is with a chain on it, but I'm going to apply the same amount of pressure on each one and look how far it rebounds. So it rebounds to about there. Let me put you down on the horn. There we go. So you got a rebound there. And then a rebound. The rebound over here, the rebound here starts dropping. And then right here, just before where the Bondo is, right here, just before where the Bondo is, you have good rebound, or good sound, and relatively gradually reducing rebound because it goes up. And then right there, it's alright. And then the next hammer across, there's no rebound. And I go over a bit more, there's the world's smallest, and then there's your average amount of rebound. So right, your average amount of rebound there. So right here in the middle, where the Bondo is, it's got no rebound. So that's great. I'll do the horn, which I don't think is hardened. And no, I don't have a hardness tester to show it with, but I'll do it anyway. I mean, it's what I'd expect from a unhardened surface. I mean, if I hit it, you see that I can put a dent in it without much difficulty. As if I do that on my face, with my tilted hammer,
you notice it doesn't do any damage to the face of the anvil.
I cleaned up this part of the anvil, the horn and stuff. I didn't do it all the way for this one. As you can see, there's paint on here still. But I cleaned up part of the horn. And I mean, all in all, I think this MD50 50 kilo Achio anvil is pretty good. And yes, my review will have a bit more to it. Next in my shop, my anvil's here. Let's move over to my forge. So my forges. In my past videos, my lighting the forge and test hardening steel, you would have seen this forge. Hot. Which is an old barbecue that I put a hairdryer on here, and it just ran in a pipe up. I made it from an old barbecue, as I said, and I just made this hood for it. which goes up and out so that it would fit and be removable, so that it could go here in my shop, in my shed. Because if I stand back, there's my old shop, and right over here is my new one. I'm kind of using both sections now. It's an old shipping container in here, but my forge used to be here, and it would sit here, and it would go up out of this hatch here, which can open up, swing outwards and open to the air. So every time I wanted to light my forge, I'd have to open this hatch and then put my chimney in to the other part of the chimney that's in here. I guess I'll show you this. This is my homemade treadle hammer. You know, a hinge, a line going through to a hammer. Moving junk out the way. It works for the odd thing. It's not actually that good though, so that's why I'm probably not going to be doing much on it in the future. Yes, my fishing, I've got fishing stuff in here when it should be over in that container. Cool find, I found this giant carabiner. Tell me if I should restore it or not. Coming back, so that's this forge which you've seen before, and then over here there's a gas forge which I'll get to in a minute. I've got this forge which is a nice coal forge, but I only run it on charcoal right now. Cheap jumbuck stuff and good heat beads stuff, but I mean it works. It runs on that blower which I showed at the start of the video. It's a little hand crank blower. You can pause the video if you want to read it. And it works great. Only problem is here in South Australia where I live in more of the hills area, hence my relatively extensive yard. I have to follow fire ban, and at the time of recording and for more than half of my year, I can't have a fire over a square meter, and there's other regulations too, which means that I can do less forging, not legally because it's under a square meter, but because charcoal those sparks up, and then they would just go up here and show to my neighbors, which would then call the fire brigade thinking there's a problem, which I don't want. So I haven't been using my charcoal forge much, but I have been but one day when I get coal, but which is quite hard at the moment because the only supplier of coal to blacksmiths and stuff around in Adelaide is ill right now, or hurt himself, and he's not selling coal right now. So that means I have no coal to actually burn, so I have to use charcoal. Moving on, I've got a Vivor, not sponsored, twin burner gas forge, which goes all the way through. It came with and it uses the Venturi style. You can see holes through, and it came with everything you see here, plus the hose and the regulator. It's a 30 psi regulator, which is great. So it came as this with the refractory blanket, and then it also came with this refractory cement here, which allows me to coat it and prevent me inhaling bad silica fibers or whatever it is, which makes it much more safe. And it also came with these fire bricks. They're like medium fire bricks. They're not soft, but they're not hard either. And then these would just put in and then screwed in. And then this was all came assembled. You just had to put this part into these, and then screw that on, this onto there, and then that onto your average, you know, swap and go or whatever it is you use gas bottle. Yeah, and then you just adjust the regulator. I would like if it had a pressure gauge on it, but I right now can't afford to buy a better regulator and stuff. Yeah, so they're my 3 forges. I usually use this one. You can see how some of the paint is beginning to flake off, which I mean is alright. It doesn't really bother me too much. Yeah, but it has been burning off, which means that insulating fibre isn't the world's best. Moving on, so we've done that and these. Let's go over there to my vise. This is a blacksmith leg vise in, you know, reasonable condition. This is probably the furthest you would ever want to extend it, which, you know, hand width or so. And it uses a spring to provide tension. It's just mounted to this frame I've got, which is weighed down with batteries. Yes, there's a leg going down. It's been customized in a few times, but I mean, I bought it and it works. So yeah, the feet of this go round. I've just got some old batteries sitting on it, melted, destroyed batteries. Next, we've done those and that. Let's go to my small anvil. This is my small anvil. It's a Vivor, very similar to this one, but it's an MD10. It's 10 kilos. This is the first one I bought, and it was at the time of purchase and the time of recording, $70 off Vivor.com. Once again, not sponsored. And I took a grinder with a wire wheel and then a grinder with a flap disc and ground it all up, made it all nice and shiny, rounded the horn off better, and just generally improved it. One thing you must do when you're doing that is make sure you're wearing respiratory protection, because especially when wire wheeling, because that dust can cause you problems in the long run. This Hardio hole is more like 1.5 centimeters to 1 centimeter, and I mounted it on this log. Don't know what wood it is, sorry. Moving round, I've got my vise with a old piece of tooling here, which I use as my hot cut. I also, moving on from that, more batteries holding stuff down. Got my very first anvil, which was just a chunk of railroad track. It does its job. It's pretty hard. I have thought about hardening it, but I don't have the resources to right now. And then moving on from that, this is my homemade power hammer. Similar to the one on Christ-Centered Ironworks in design, but part of it failed, the pedal part. I don't have a drill powerful enough right now, so right now I'm running it off of my motorized hacksaw, and the belt's just hooked into one of the pulleys there. Which then just goes directly to my Da Vinci Cam one. This is like the first one Christ-Centered Ironworks made. this is how I mounted it to the thing. It's not very nice, but it works. I then put this big lump of steel on and put a, what's that, 8-pound sledge on. It does wobble a bit, but it also works. I put this switch here, which runs up and around to my power, and then it just, if it was actually on, the cam would rotate that way, and it would go to about there, and do that. I know it's off center, I know it's rubbishy, but it does its job. Then I've got, you know, my shelving with stuff, some future things you may or may not see, if I can find them, is finishing a hot cut hardy, flint and steel striker, drive hook, horseshoe, tent pegs for me, and hooks, S-hooks. I also may do other stuff, but for now that's it of it. I have some steel, which I'm going to show you right now. Just tell me, what do you think I should make out of it? You know, tow hitch, what should I make out of it? Golf club head, what should I make out of it? You know, rebar, what should I make out of it? Really, really thick rebar, what should I make out of that? You know, give me any idea you have, and I'll see if it works for me. And then I've got my air compressor. And if it doesn't, I just won't make a video on it. If it does, you will get yourself a video. Anyway, I think that's about all I've got for you today, guys. My shop tour. Make sure you like and subscribe. You know, tell other people about me. Trying to grow my channel here. And you know, I will try, if you leave a comment, I'll try to reply to it as much as I can. Make sure you check out the community section of my channel, because I'll be asking questions and stuff. Also, if you did enjoy this video, you know, leave a like again. But if you did not enjoy this video, check out one of my other videos. Perhaps you'd like that. See you guys later. End of blacksmith shop tour transmission.